Keystone XL, if it was actually built, was actually going to be a net zero project. It was going to deliver a politically stable supply of crude oil to the United States from a region like Alberta that has the highest social and economic, environmental standards pretty well in the entire country, in the entire world relating to energy. So this was purely a political decision by the Biden administration designed to appease the base that elected him.
Okay, so hold on a second, because we mentioned that in 2010, the EPA, based out of Washington, approved this pipeline. It got their approval. Well, who was vice president in 2010? Wasn't it Joe Biden?
He's been around, yeah.
Okay, did I guess this right? Yeah. So what happened?
I don't know if he remembered he did it the first time.
Oh my goodness. Okay, well, why did he do this now? So he approved it. He was, in some, at least morally, he has signed off on this in 2010. Why the about face now?
I would say that this is entirely political. It's there's really no reason as to why you'd want to actually cancel the pipeline, but rather than a political move on his part to actually go and appease the base of voters that elected him. There really is no empirical reason as to why you'd want to cut that particular pipeline off. Like, why would you want to import oil from across the entire world, which of course is going to cost more emissions in transportation, when you have a supply right by one of your greatest trading partners, your best friend, Canada?
Definitely. I mean, go ahead, David.
Sorry. Well, just about that time, 2010, that's kind of a pivotal time. That is, and we don't talk about this very much on this end of the pipeline, but Enbridge had a terrible spill in the Kalamazoo River in 2010 in Michigan. And that was, it's almost like Dennis McConaughey, who was vice president with TransCanada, was heavily involved in this project, wrote a book called Dysfunction a few years ago. And he sort of said the environmental movement was looking for a crusade, and climate change was interesting, but there was this oil spill and there was this pipeline. And the environmentalists got a hold of this thing, and there was no peace since. This is the first walkouts on the protests started in the United States. So the pipelines and that particular issue were not necessarily politicized until it became an event. And actually, if you look back, and I just made some notes here, if you look at the history of the world, nuclear power is always thought to be safe. Then you have an event like Chernobyl, 3 Mile under Fukushima, then all of a sudden it's not safe anymore.
Right.
And the politicians go over here. Or you have another event like the Exxon Valdez oil spill. Suddenly tankers aren't safe. Well, we had this pipeline rupture the same year as the Macondo blowout. And all of a sudden, now pipelines aren't safe. So it was a little bit of bad luck in there. But really, starting in 2010 was when the anti-Keystone pipeline movement really got legs. And the EPA rescinded its review, did another review for political reasons. In 2011, they issued another one, came out with the same conclusion. A year later, this has got no impact. And the pressure was on Obama until finally in 2015, on the way out sort of in the tail end of his term after Trudeau was elected, he said, well, let's kill the damn thing. It was unprecedented, really.
And Obama completely dragged it out to the very end, as Dave said, like he was just playing the drag and stall game, and then kills it at the very end. Trump, love him or hate him, goes ahead with it. The government of Alberta puts in $1.3 billion to it. And then at the end of the day, first day in office, Biden cancels that. I would highly doubt that he will go back on that.
Okay, so first of all, I guess let me ask you another question about what U.S. President Joe Biden has done. So does he actually have the authority to do this? I mean, this is a pipeline that, yes, this segment is in America, but really it's transporting energy between two countries. America's dependent on this energy. We're dependent to get this product out. Does he have the authority to do this? And can anyone challenge him on this?
From a strictly legal perspective, yes, he does. Now, that potentially does leave him open to damages under NAFTA. But I will tell you this, is that precisely no country has ever got damages from the United States under that clause in NAFTA. Nobody.
Obama canceled a permit in 2015. And Premier Kenney helped build the pipe under the border, the cross-border. Mm-hmm. They dug and buried the cross-border section so that Biden would have to cancel a pipeline, not a permit. It's not quite catching oil yet. So they thought from a legal perspective, a permit is really easy to do. Unfortunately, TransCanada at that time, TC Energy today, had already spent something like $2.7 billion, was in the process of suing the White House when Trump got elected, reversed everything and let him get going again.